everybody. Welcome to Working the Indies. We are here with 2026. We're going to look at an interesting thing that is happening in the world of professional wrestling. The lines are blurring once again between indie and what is not indie. And I think that's what we're going to talk about a lot today on this show, because we have Impact, TNA's flagship show, joining AMC, and then their pay-per-views joining AMC Plus. And then we also have ONE FW getting into the mix with Conrad Thompson's promotion, joining forces with Scott D'Amore, who you all would recognize as the guy who masterminded TNA into that foray, into that contract. He's really the guy they should pat on the back for getting him that deal at AMC. You have NWA going to the Roku channel, which is a little less fervor, but still, it's a big deal. It's a channel that gets watched a lot, and it's on there, and they're doing a weekly show there. And then MLW doing its thing on YouTube. So, and then they have BN Sports has been their thing, but I don't think anybody on this planet could ever find BN Sports. So, and they're always like, that's the thing about BN Sports has a New Japan as well, and they're always like a month behind what is really going on the Fed, but that's fine. Same with NWA. NWA is a couple weeks behind. They tape all their shows ahead of time, and then they air them out. Oh, also transitioning past us, Matt Cardona is now in WWE.
As Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder is no more.
Yep, that but it makes me feel good about our pick for Wrestler of the Year, because she's out there fucking running a program to hell with Priscilla Kelly, who people would know as Gigi Dolan from NXT, and they have decided they're going to run a year-long feud, which is fucking awesome. We can talk about that too, but they have decided they're going to run a year-long feud, which is fucking awesome. We can talk about that too.
I'm not going to let you forget that you couldn't beat me 6 years ago, and I'm not going to let that change.
What are your thoughts on TNA joining the fray here? Would you say that's a minor tier indie? I mean, WWE has claws on them, right? So it's very difficult to classify them as indie.
TNA is nowhere near big enough to be looked at as a global fed. It's just not. It is not on the level of WWE. It is nowhere near the level of AEW. I mean, hell, they're becoming almost on par with just maybe barely a step above of NXT, but technically a step below, because with the working relationship with WWE, top guys of TNA are going into NXT and getting howled.
They just poached Joe Henry.
Yeah, they poached Joe Henry. They poached Jordan Grace. Now there's talk
Leon Slater.
Yeah, and now there's talk of maybe a Hardys versus Usos super match. So
I would be on for that.
Which means that you're going to have to build that, which means, guess what? Now your tag team champions are gone.
Yeah.
And then they're probably going to put over the Usos, because Matt and Jeff I'm surprised Matt and Jeff are still going strong today.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff especially, because Matt's style was not as reckless and wild as Jeff's over time.
Jeff has toned it down quite a bit too. So
yeah, but still, back to your original point, your original question. This first show on AMC bombed. It's been a big story in the IWC, and I don't want to piggyback and dogpile on them about that. But look, if I'm surprised TNA in a lot of ways has been around this long, because when it first came out, it was the only alternative to WWE. After they purchased WCW,
it felt, and they tried to be the ECW of that, right?
Right, and I love the fact that they had the octagonal ring. I thought that was very, very unique, and it carried them for a while.
Wrestlers hated that fucking thing.
I mean, it's not so much that I loved it; I just liked that it was different.
Yeah, well,
I liked that
the wrestlers who wrestled in it hated it.
Oh, I can imagine. But it was different, and then they went to the traditional squared circle. I really feel like, I really wish. I thought that the Aces and Eights was an amazing idea. I mean, granted, NWO as an MC, which was kind of cool. It was a nice little thing, but like the NWO, it got overblown and bloated, and it ran its course. TNA has definitely been the little promotion that could for a quarter of a century now.
It feels like the Castaway Fed, where all the guys go when they're done.
And that's what it was. All the WWF guys went there when they couldn't hack it.
And it's still the case today. Nick Nemeth, Mustafa Ali.
But it was weird. Like the only real homegrown guys that you got were you got AJ Styles. Samoa Joe came over from ROH.
Yeah.
But they built that company.
Austin Aries was a homegrown guy.
Aries was a homegrown guy.
Jay Lethal.
Yeah, Jay Lethal. Christopher Daniels, granted, he came up out of the Indies, but
Kazarian.
Frank Kazarian, yeah. I think that when Hogan, Bischoff showed up, it almost killed the whole company. I kind of wish. I think if Hogan and Bischoff don't show up, it's still it's riding. It's almost like it would be better off today if they never got there, because then you had to spend years getting that off.
Yeah,
and that's nothing against Eric Bischoff. I mean, he's a good wrestling.
They did what they were supposed to do when they got there. That's what they were tapped to do by Dixie Carter, and that's what they did. They did what they were supposed to do,
and that's why Dixie Carter got booed out of the building.
Yeah.
Period. That's why she gets booed out of the building every single time, because if Dixie Carter just lets the wrestling folks do their thing instead of trying to bring everyone outside in, who knows where it's at right now.
You know, one of the things that TNA innovated, though, was the women's division. They were really the first in the world to really push that forward. Yeah. And that's kind of been diluted. This Fed feels like just a place for guys to get work in. It doesn't feel like they have direction or an ambition. And at least when Bischoff and Hogan were there, you had an ambition. You had a direction, which, granted, took them off the path of the direction they were going and left them for dead at the end of that. I mean, if it's not for Eli Drake and Bobby Roode, that Fed TNA would not exist.
You could make an argument for EC3 as well.
And EC3 and Gail Kim, who carried the women's division, Mickey James, who came back, those folks, and then beautiful people as well. You gotta give them some props.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this was a Fed that if you were a woman, this is where you were going to go to make.
This is where you went, and I think that if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the women's revolution of WWE as we have today.
1,000%. Feels like they're just doing things to do things now. They're not. There's no direction to what they're trying. There's no mission statement. Until they have not brought up a mission statement. I think that is where this is failing miserably for them.
Do you think that they're still reeling from the Tessa Blanchard situation? Because you don't think so? Because
I mean, she's back. She was on the pay-per-view.
But only reason why I bring that up, because she was the first woman to hold a company's big title that wasn't in a TV show. Shout out to the show heels. But I mean, they really hitched a wagon to her, and then they had to really pivot and stuff and like that.
She rose burned them.
But when you put that much faith in someone, and then something like that happens, that hurts your company.
Yeah,
So
I can see that. I understand that. I think what really hurt them was NXT, because NXT started poaching all those guys, and that diluted their product.
And what really pissed me off. And this is a WWE thing. This is a WWE machine thing. I blame Paul Levesque for it. Is that when they started trading talent to NXT, TNA's main eventers are getting owned by NXT guys, and that's not acceptable to me. That is that Vince McMahon, every WCW guy. Like the invasion angle never felt like anything because the WWE guys were always going over the WCW guys. It was literally like, and the only guy that seemed to survive that was Joe Hendry.
I think they've got plans for Jordan Grace too.
Yeah, Jordan. Now here's the thing: I follow Jordan Grace on Facebook. I've been a big fan of Jordan Grace. I think that if TNA really wants to fully survive in this new decade, moving into the 2030s, they are going to have to really start to get some fresh faces, and they've got to make use of this working deal, this working in alliance with WWE. Get some of these
up their production.
They've got to up their production. They've got to get some of these young rookies these young indies that WWE is working with that aren't quite ready for NXT, and let them make their bones on TNA. And maybe, just maybe, look, if you're already putting over WWE guys, then fine. Be the NXT adjacent show and let these kids start to learn how to cook.
But it is hurting the fact that they're not putting over any of these younger. Where they were succeeding was when Fatu had the belt and he was wrestling Nick Aldis. He was wrestling Cody Rhodes. He was wrestling guys that were already over.
Along those lines, Brian, I think this is a great segue into, I think MLW was listening to our show with John Hartness, because I look at this, what their big thing is Battle Riot. It's their Royal Rumble, basically.
Battle Riot.
You look at this roster. Yeah, there's some names in here that we all know, right? But I would say
Hammerstone scares the crap.
I would say half of these names are homegrown talent that they're building back up, and they're starting to build their roster slowly back up. There's one guy in particular that I think everybody needs to pay attention to, and that's Brooksy. This is that gentleman right there, Adam Brooks, who looks a lot like Adam Copeland. If Adam Copeland and Brian Murphy had a baby, that would be Adam Brooks. Adam Brooks is a guy from Australia. He's currently the Melbourne City Intercommonwealth Heavyweight Champion. As you can tell, he's brutal. He works stiff, but he works fair. He's very much like Alex Hammerstone. I can't wait to see the two of them, because I think that's going to be a slobber knocker.
Oh, they're gonna beat they're gonna beat the holy next Tuesday out of each other.
Yeah, and then you've got guys like Diego Hill, and then Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas is another big dude that's just gonna beat the shit out of people. Matthew Justice, who has been really Matthew Justice is the promo guy there, and he is really hot on the mic right now. He'll sell for Dijak. He's done it before, but this is setting up to be a resurgence for MLW that I think was so needed by them. Their women's division is restacking. They're poaching some indie folks. Ava Everett being one of those. Wakana Huari also one of those. I think MLW might be the ones we talk about coming later on in this year and keep going, because they've got some potential here.
Yeah, I think that as long as they find a way to keep Matt Riddle's goofy behind under control. Honestly,
well, I mean, now that they got Cross, I think Cross is probably going to carry this promotion if he doesn't jump to WWE. I think he's going to carry this promotion on his back for a bit, and I think that's a good call.
I think so. And I'll tell you what, look, MLW is an awesome fed. They just know how to get the job done. If you don't believe me, look at a man by the name of Jacob Fatu, the Samoan Werewolf, because this is where he really made his bones, and he was a force there. Mm-hmm. And then not long, after a while, when his championship run was up, he moved on to the Fed. And I'll tell you the one thing that I've noticed, and I think that you'll agree with me on this, Joe. In the old days, in the territory days, people were on top in one particular territory for a certain amount of time. And then when it looked like enough was enough, they moved on to someplace else. And that's a lot of what you see. What you got in WWE is that's still an exception to the rule where people stay there for all of that time. But their roster is so big that you can get shuffled in the deck and then come back later.
But yeah, you're right. MLW has been doing it and doing it well.
Yeah, and I'm happy that they've got that going, because again, look, you need these indie feds. You need them, because this is where folks are making their bones. This not everyone is gonna be Joe Anoa'i, aka Roman Reigns, where the family name and that family legacy gets you on.
Yeah.
You got to make your bones in these places, and you got to support these places. Otherwise, this business is not going to be. Look, it seems like WWE is trying to kill it. It's trying to kill the business.
Well, TKO.
TKO is trying so hard to kill this business, but
legitimize it. I don't know which one they're trying to end towards.
Well,
but,
whatever they're doing it wrong. But if they keep screwing up and the company gets sold to the Saudis,
this leads to the great segue of what's happening. The big news.
1FW fans, joining me at this time is the new co-executive TV producer for 1FW, Scott D'Amore. Scott, welcome to One Fall Wrestling.
Oh, thanks so much. I'm excited to be here to join the team of 1FW as co-executive producer. I've been watching the show on Triller TV. Can't wait now that I'm down here in Georgia to see it on Peachtree Sports Network. So I'm excited and, just saw a great show here. I mean, what a roster. So, I think there's great things for 1FW.
1FW, which is
QT Marshall's
promotion, picked up and poached Scott D'Amore to be a 10 booker and lead runner. Scott D'Amore, again, was the guy who created TNA. He's the guy who made TNA what TNA is. Yeah. And running a Canadian promotion that was kind of partnered with AEW for a little while. And then there was rumors he was going to go to WWE and partner with them for a bit and do some things in Japan with them. Now he's on his own again, and he's doing this 1FW. And this is a fed that you can go check out on YouTube, but I think is what we're talking about.
They're also on Thriller TV, and you can watch their stuff for free.
Yeah, and YouTube too, you can watch it for free as well. But this is a fed that is exactly what we're talking about: homegrown talent feeding into the well, and they're going to probably, knowing D'Amore, he's probably got some tricks up his sleeve where he's going to bring some guys in that are character guys that he knows that are on the indie bookings. And bring those guys in to feed these guys up, and bring guys like Brady Booker, who is their current world heavyweight champion, up. I mean, look at that, and does he not look like Hulk Hogan, like from the 1975?
Or Randy Hogan. Yeah, he does. He does have that look, and that is a nice looking belt too.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. 1FW. The fact that that's Conrad Thompson. Look, Conrad Thompson is a super fan when it comes to the business.
He's really good. He's their color commentator. He's really good at color commentary.
I love Conrad Thompson's voice. I love the way I love his interviews.
It reminds me a lot of AWA days.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of him. I don't really listen to the podcasts as much as I used to, just because, Bruce Pritchard is kind of growing old on me.
And the Eric Bischoff one is just him bashing on Tony Khan all the time. So it's
right.
That gets old.
And I really don't want to deal much with any of the other ones. The Tony Schiavone one is still pretty cool. I like hearing a lot of the old stuff about old WCW, but at the same token, I really listen to those because I like the way Conrad Thompson, even like how he would call out Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
And Bruce Pritchard knew it was coming, but he'd walk into it anyway. Yeah. So, and I'll tell you what, so I definitely appreciate that. So, I'm definitely, I got 1FW on my YouTube subscribe list, and, I want to start watching some of their stuff because I'm telling you, Joe, I want so badly to fall back in love with the business like I was when I was a kid. But
this gal might do it for you. This is their current women's champion. Look at the size of this woman. Look at this. She needs to bulk up a little bit.
She needs to get a little bit more muscle.
Camilla. She would be fucking Camilla. She's 6'1". She fucking towers over these girls, and that's one of their best workers there in Angelique Rosick, Risk, something like that. I can't think of her last name. This is Remy Reed, and she's their current women's champion, and she is fucking phenomenal on the mic. She's fucking really good. She's a little green in the ring, but she works pretty stiff, so it makes sense. But she can also move. She moves like the Undertaker.
Okay.
So
that's pretty cool. I dig that. I dig that a lot.
So if you get a chance to see her perform, I think you're gonna fall in love with her. I think she's gonna be one of your favorites for sure.
Okay, so you think she's gonna replace Madame Markova?
No.
Okay, good.
I think you can't.
Don't go crazy.
You don't ever forget your first one, right?
That's true. You never do. I'll tell you what's really cool and what made me happy with what you sent me over, Joe. Now we're talking about how great it is, and we got to get our eyes on this indie product. We don't really have any excuses anymore, especially if you're a Roku guy like me. Yeah. I will only buy Roku TVs now. I don't like any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
On Roku, we can now watch NWA.
Yeah.
And that is awesome.
Yeah.
Look, I love the NWA belt. I love seeing it. And I think that now the NWA I got to put some Pittsburgh on that. Is now available on the Roku channel.
With they finally got Billy Corgan to do an original song as the intro too. It's a Billy Corgan original song.
My brother, that is tighter than a drum.
I love that. I was like going, why does he keep putting Dawkins songs on here? He's a fucking musician, for fuck's sake. He should be doing. There should be Smashing Pumpkin fucking songs on there. You know, I understand.
I want to hear.
He can't do that because of Atlantic Records, but he finally decided to man up and make his own fucking song for the show, which I thought was perfect, and it's really good. It was the best part of Power that I watched, the episode I watched.
And I'll tell you what, Matt Cardona leaving for I really kind of wish he could have stayed there and been their cornerstone, but I get it. Plus,
I have a dark horse for Wrestler of the Year who really we should have given a lot more kudos to this year. She was part of history with Natalia Markova, which was the first ever women's cage match in NWA, and Tiffany Neves, who is their current intercontinental or whatever they call it, world TV champion or whatever. She's the second tier champ of the NWA. Pretty belt. It's like this purple belt. Tiffany Neves is, I'm telling you, she works incredible. She needs a little seasoning on the mic. I think that's where NWA is kind of lacking right now. They don't have enough mic workers. They're doing great stories. They're telling good stories. Ultimately, they're telling good stories in the ring as well. It feels a little like subpar production at this point. And so
I think that's something that a lot of these are starting to run into, is that, you know, you've got some difficult production work, you know, and that.
Well, I loved what NWA was doing earlier on, which was the homage to WCW Saturday Night, where they would wrestle and then they would come and they would cut a promo at the desk and walk off, and then that's where storylines started to get built within the studio. They're not doing that anymore, and it's kind of disconcerting a little bit for me.
I hear you.
I like the product. I like the people who are involved in the product. I think they're all great wrestling people, and I think it's going to be amazing. They've got Tim doing commentary. He's okay. I mean, the commentary is okay, but
it's okay. It's okay.
But I only saw 2 episodes, so I'm going to give it more of a chance, and obviously we'll talk a lot about those as we go.
Yeah, and I'm actually saving it on my computer with Roku right now, so that way when I'm doing schoolwork or whatever, I can check it out as well. Because again, I want, especially the NWA, I want to give the NWA as much of my attention as possible, because it's such an amazing product and it was such a big part. I kind of wish it was a bigger part of my childhood, but the NWA also, that was Southern wrestling in so many ways. And I was in the
territory thing, which is great. And they're utilizing that within the shows. So they've got guys from other territories infiltrating Power and doing that. So it's really cool. There's a really good storyline going on with the Southern promotion wing of the territories and the major NWA players. It's very cool. So yeah, I think NWA. Look, I think we're going to make this an MLW, 1FW, NWA year, and I think that's what we're setting this episode up for. Those are the ones we're going to pay attention to, and I think that GCW is dropping the major ball here by not being a part of this, because GCW has always had, they're the Fed that tried so hard to beat ECW, and it's just not. It just doesn't fit. It's not pleasant to watch.
Yeah, and I think the one of the main things with GCW is that it kind of couldn't get out of its own way.
Yeah, and then it became AAW's bitch for a while too. So
yeah, now everything has a streaming platform, and people are just trying to monetize the hell out of our time. Mm-hmm. And when you put indie wrestling behind that paywall, you make it impossible to get into your product, because WWE owns TV. Who's going to spend money to go to something that they see as inferior? And it's not, but if you don't know it, you see it as inferior. Mm-hmm. Now that WWE is going behind the paywall, yeah, these indie feds need to start making their stuff accessible. you get your monetization from eyeballs, not by money. So I'm glad that these indie feds are doing this now, because look, I want to see good quality product. I want to see good work in the ring, and I want good storylines. And I want to see people that I've never seen before making my eyes explode. You remember the first time you watched Beyond the Mat, and they had the two guys from out west putting on the show.
Yeah, Michael Modest.
Yeah, Michael Modest, and they were wrestling that dark match.
Yeah.
And freaking Jim Cornette marked out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And someone's like, yeah, I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want to be Jim Cornette and Beyond the Mat.
We'll look forward to 2026 and working the indies, and we'll keep our eyes on the prizes that we've set out. So we've put our mandate out there. We've put our stamp on what we're going to concentrate on for the year here, and I think was the whole goal of the show. And from there on, we're gonna be giving you some great matches and some great people to check out, and we'll keep our eyes on each. We'll kind of do. We'll figure out a formula that works for us. That maybe we'll do like a match for you to check out, and a contender to check out for Wrestler of the Year kind of idea, and we'll profile them and do that, and probably in the future shows, and keep that going. So
yeah, because I definitely will. I think it'll be kind of fun to do a watch along, just because. But we got to make sure that we don't get in trouble with the YouTube, and make sure that we don't mess up, because we it's hard enough to get into the algorithm. We don't need strikes.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the other side of the ropes. And thank you so much. And why, Bryan?
Because it's always time to go indie now.
Bye, y'all.